Have you ever had a friend who cancels plans at the last minute? They were supposed to go out, maybe even have fun, and suddenly they're too tired, not feeling it, or they come up with 100 reasons not to go. Or maybe you're that friend, because there's a very specific moment that comes right after you cancel. It's not that sinking feeling in your stomach, not the urge to over-explain or apologize 3 times, and not that voice telling you that you should have gone. What you notice first is something much simpler. Your body relaxes. Your thoughts slow down. That background tension you didn't even notice starts to disappear. And only then you recognize it. Relief? Not excitement, not happiness. Just relief. The feeling that something mildly exhausting is no longer on the agenda. And that reaction is exactly the part most people misunderstand. From the outside, it looks simple. Plans were canceled. Someone stayed home. End of story. So people start guessing. Maybe you didn't care enough. Maybe you're avoiding life. Maybe you're getting too comfortable. Or maybe, classic, you're just making excuses. But psychology looks at this pattern very differently. And once you see it, it starts to make a lot more sense. Because when someone consistently feels better after plans disappear, it usually has very little to do with motivation, discipline, or social skills. It has a lot more to do with how their system handles stimulation. Think about how it usually happens. A message pops up, a meeting, a dinner, a quick catch-up. You don't panic. You're not anxious. But something in you tightens anyway. You already feel tired in advance. And if you're honest, just a bit annoyed. Not because you dislike people, and not because you're dramatic, but because you already know what it will take. The talking, especially the small talk that goes in circles. The constant adjusting, reading the room, managing reactions, being on in a way that quietly drains you. Your brain starts running scenarios before anything has even happened. And then the plan gets canceled. And your body reacts before your thoughts do. Your shoulders drop. Your breathing slows. Your jaw unclenches. Your mind stops racing ahead. From the outside, it looks like withdrawal. From the inside, it feels like things finally settling down. Most people grow up with the idea that stimulation equals living. More movement means more life. More people means more meaning. A packed calendar means you're doing something right. But psychology has known for a long time that nervous systems don't all work the same way. Some people recharge through interaction, loud conversations, fast pacing, being in the middle of things. Others experience interaction as load. Not bad, not scary, just a lot. For those people, the outside world isn't thrilling. It's demanding. Mentally, emotionally, physiologically. So staying home isn't about doing less. It's about choosing the environment where your nervous system doesn't have to stay alert the entire time. And here's what's actually happening in your body when you cancel a plan. Your system shifts out of anticipation mode. Stress hormones that were slowly building never fully kick in. Your body stops preparing to perform, adapt, and respond. Your brain switches from scanning outward to settling inward. That relief isn't laziness. It's your system recognizing that it doesn't need to work so hard right now. What's rarely talked about is how often this preference develops over time. A lot of people who love staying home didn't start out trying to avoid the world. They just noticed where they felt best. Often, that starts early. Growing up fast. Being the quiet, reasonable child. The one who didn't ask for much. The one who learned to manage themselves. When emotions weren't always mirrored, you learned to process them internally. When attention felt inconsistent, you learned not to rely on it too much. Over time, home became more than just a place. It became the space where nothing was required of you. No explaining, no adjusting, no emotional performance. There are a few common patterns among people who genuinely prefer staying home. Most people recognize themselves in more than one. One is high sensitivity to stimulation. These minds pick up details others miss. Tone shifts, background noise, subtle changes in energy. Crowds don't feel neutral. They feel loud on the inside. Small talk isn't light. It's effort. So predictability becomes valuable. Not because of fear, but because it makes things easier on the system. Another pattern is deep emotional processing. Some people don't move quickly through feelings. They sit with them, replay conversations, look for meaning beneath the surface. Fast environments interrupt that. Quiet ones support it. And then there's protection. For some people, the outside world slowly became associated with pressure, disappointment, or unpredictability, not dramatic trauma, just enough to teach the system where it feels most comfortable. Inside became recovery. Outside became effort, not danger. Effort. What often gets missed is that people who prefer staying home aren't disconnected. They're selective. They don't want many interactions. They want real ones. They're not trying to hurt anyone. They're not rejecting people. They're just honest with themselves about energy. They don't want to waste it on interactions that feel empty or forced, especially when they know they won't be fully present anyway. Their empathy is quiet, but sharp. They notice what isn't said. They sense shifts early. And that selectivity sometimes gets mistaken for distance. There is an important line, though. Staying home can restore you, and it can also slowly shrink your world if it becomes the only place you feel okay. The difference doesn't show up on your calendar. It shows up inside. Do you feel clearer afterward? Or a bit smaller? Does being home help you reset? Or does it quietly disconnect you from movement and growth? Psychology draws a clear line here. Solitude is chosen. Isolation appears when choice fades. One supports you, the other slowly drains you. This matters especially for people who learned early how to self-regulate. When you grow up relying on yourself, you get very good at being alone. Silence doesn't bother you. You don't fall apart without constant reassurance. That's a real strength. But it also means you might not notice when protection turns into habit. So if staying home feels natural to you, it doesn't automatically mean something's wrong. Often, it just means your system knows how to preserve energy, how to reduce noise, how to stay balanced. Some people expand outward, others deepen inward. Both are valid ways of living. And if this didn't just make sense in your head, but you actually felt it, then you already understand what this channel is about. If you want to understand the psychology that most people never hear about themselves, the next video will resonate with you even more than this one. Click it, and you'll see why.